Picture this. It's 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. You're lying in bed, wide awake, mind racing through tomorrow's to-do list while simultaneously beating yourself up about everything you didn't accomplish today. Your laptop is glowing on the nightstand because you just need to check one more email. Your phone buzzes with a productivity app reminder you set 6 months ago when you thought this system would finally be the one to sort your life out. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Whether you're in Manchester dealing with the relentless pace of city life, burning the midnight oil in Silicon Valley chasing that next breakthrough, or grinding through another late night in Berlin trying to balance work and life, millions of us are trapped in the same exhausting cycle. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. We've become addicted to struggle. We wear our stress like a badge of honor, as if suffering somehow proves we're serious about success. In the UK, they call it grafting. In America, it's the hustle. In Germany, it's Flassig sign. Different languages, same trap. But what if I told you that everything you've been taught about achieving your goals is not just wrong, it's actually the very thing preventing you from getting there? What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're trying too hard? And what if there was a way to achieve more by doing less, not through some mystical mumbo-jumbo, but through solid research-backed science that most people never learn? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what happens when high achievers finally stop trying so hard. The results might shock you. More importantly, they might just set you free. Let's talk about what's really happening in our heads right now, across continents and cultures. In America, the average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes during waking hours. In the UK, recent studies show that 74% of people feel overwhelmed by their daily responsibilities. In France, they literally have a word, surbooké, for being chronically overbooked. Germans are famous for their efficiency, yet burnout rates in Germany have increased by 38% in the last 5 years. We're all running the same program. More effort equals more results. But here's what's fascinating and terrifying about this approach. It's literally rewiring our brains to make us less capable of the very things we're trying to achieve. Let me share something that blew my mind when I first learned it. Dr. Amy Arnsten at Yale School of Medicine discovered that when we're in chronic, effortful control mode, that state where you're constantly pushing, forcing, trying to make things happen, our brains undergo physical changes that make us worse at creative problem solving, long-term planning, emotional regulation, making good decisions under pressure, seeing opportunities right in front of us. Think about that for a second. The harder you try, the less capable you become of actually succeeding. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake on. You can press the accelerator all you want, but you're fighting against your own system. Here's where it gets really interesting, and this is backed by decades of research from Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, and the Max Planck Institute. When you're constantly in push mode, your brain activates what neuroscientists call the salience network, the part responsible for focused attention and effortful control. This might sound good, but here's the catch. This network literally suppresses your default mode network, the part of your brain that handles pattern recognition, subconscious problem solving, creative insights, integration of past experiences, natural learning and adaptation. Dr. Marcus Rachel at Washington University, who discovered the default mode network, found something remarkable. This doing nothing brain state consumes 20 times more energy than focused, effortful thinking. Your brain is doing its most sophisticated work when you're not trying. But here's what shocked researchers. People who learn to access this state will consistently outperform hard workers in virtually every measurable area. Entrepreneurs in this state generate 3x more viable business ideas. Students retain information 40% better with less study time. Athletes break personal records more. Frequently, artists produce work that's rated as more creative and original. Even surgeons make fewer errors when operating from this relaxed focus state. This isn't about being lazy. This is about working with your brain's natural intelligence instead of against it. Think about your own life for a moment. When did your best ideas come to you? Was it during those 2 a.m. grinding sessions, or was it in the shower, on a walk, right before you fell asleep? Now, before you think, great, I'll just stop trying and everything will magically work out, let's talk about why this is so hard to implement. We've been culturally programmed, whether you grew up in Texas or Tuscany, London or Los Angeles, to equate effort with virtue and ease with laziness. In America, it's the Protestant work ethic meets Silicon Valley hustle culture. Move fast and break things. Sleep is for the weak. If you're not grinding, you're not growing. In the UK, there's this deeply ingrained belief that anything worth having must be struggled for. Keep calm and carry on. Sounds peaceful, but it's really about enduring through difficulty. The British stiff upper lip that turns suffering into a virtue. In Germany, efficiency is prized, but it often becomes rigid perfectionism. Ordnung must saying, there must be order, which translates into controlling every variable through sheer force of will. In France, there's l'art de vivre, the art of living, but it's often overshadowed by intense academic and professional pressure that starts young and never lets up. Across Europe, there's this underlying current of life is serious business that makes relaxation feel irresponsible and ease feel suspicious. Here's the profound irony. The cultures that pride themselves on efficiency and achievement are often the ones that have most completely cut themselves off from the mental states that make effortless achievement possible. Let me share some stories that will change how you think about this entirely. Sarah from London, marketing executive, worked 70-hour weeks, constantly anxious about falling behind. Tried every productivity system, took courses on time management, even hired a coach. Nothing worked. She just felt more overwhelmed. Then she started what we call strategic non-doing, deliberately scheduling time to not work on her biggest challenges. Within 3 weeks, she had breakthrough solutions to problems she'd been stuck on for months. 6 months later, she was promoted and working 30% fewer hours. Marcus from Berlin, software developer who spent years forcing himself through complex coding problems, often hitting walls that would keep him stuck for days. When he learned to step away from problems instead of grinding through them, his debugging time decreased by 60%. His code quality improved so much that his company asked him to mentor other developers. James from San Francisco, entrepreneur who burned through $50K in 2 years trying to force a startup idea to work. Everything felt like pushing a boulder uphill. When he finally let go of that idea and allowed himself to notice what was actually working, he discovered a completely different opportunity that felt effortless to pursue. That company was acquired 18 months later. What these stories have in common isn't luck or talent. It's learning to distinguish between productive action and effortful struggling. But here's what's crucial to understand. None of these people just stopped trying and waited for magic to happen. They learned a completely different way of engaging with challenges, one that harnesses their natural intelligence instead of fighting against it. Through working with thousands of high achievers across different continents and cultures, we've identified 4 distinct phases that people go through when they learn to stop trying so hard. Phase 1, the recognition days 1-7. This is when you first start noticing how much mental energy you're burning on effortful control. You catch yourself forcing solutions, pushing against resistance, trying to think your way through problems that don't respond to thinking. What to expect? You might feel anxious about not doing enough. This is normal. Your nervous system has been trained to associate ease with danger. American clients often report feeling guilty for not hustling. British clients worry about not pulling their weight. German clients fear losing their edge. The key insight, awareness without judgment. You're not trying to fix anything yet, just noticing the pattern. Phase 2, the experiment days 8-21. This is when you start testing what happens when you engage differently with challenges. Instead of meeting every problem with more effort, you experiment with stepping back, changing your state, approaching from a different angle. What to expect? Mixed results and some confusion. Some days will feel amazing, effortless, and productive. Other days, you'll fall back into old patterns. This is part of the process, not a failure. The breakthrough. You start experiencing moments where solutions come easily, where the right action is obvious, where you're working with the flow instead of against it. Phase 3. The integration days 2260. This is when the new approach starts becoming more natural. You develop an intuitive sense of when to act and when to wait, when to think and when to let your subconscious work, when to push and when to allow. What to expect. Increasing confidence in your natural intelligence. Better decision-making. More energy throughout the day. Work that used to feel impossible starts feeling manageable. The shift. You realize that your best self isn't the version that tries harder. It's the version that trusts your natural capabilities. Phase 4. The new normal days 60 plus. This is when effortless effectiveness becomes your default mode. You still work hard, but it's a different kind of work, focused, purposeful, sustainable. You engage deeply with challenges without burning out. What to expect? Consistent high performance without the constant stress. Better relationships because you're not always in survival mode. A sense of ease that doesn't compromise your ambition. The result. You become someone who achieves more while appearing to try less because you've learned to work with your design instead of against it. Let's get specific about the neuroscience because understanding this will help you trust the process when your old programming tries to pull you back. During phase 1, recognition. Your anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain that monitors conflicts, starts firing more frequently. This is why awareness can initially feel uncomfortable. Your brain is literally rewiring to notice patterns it was previously running automatically. Research from UCLA shows that simply labeling internal states on forcing this activates your prefrontal cortex and reduces activity in your amygdala, the fear center. This is why awareness alone creates immediate relief. During phase 2, experimentation. Your brain starts building new neural pathways while the old ones are still strong. Neuroscientist Dr. Rick Hansen calls this taking in the good. When you have positive experiences of ease and effectiveness, you need to consciously strengthen those neural pathways. This is why the mixed results are so important. Each positive experience of effortless achievement literally changes your brain structure, making it easier to access that state in the future. During phase 3, integration. Your default mode network becomes more active and integrated with your executive control network. Instead of these systems fighting each other, they start working together. Studies from Cambridge University show that people in this integrated state perform better on complex tasks while reporting less mental fatigue. Their brains become more efficient doing more with less energy. During phase 4, new normal. Your nervous system regulation improves dramatically. Your vagus nerve, which controls your rest and digest response, becomes more active. This means better sleep, better digestion, better emotional regulation, and better access to creative problem-solving states. This isn't just about productivity. This is about reclaiming your natural state of well-being. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually implement this in your real life, with your real responsibilities and your real culture that rewards struggle? Week 1-2. The Awareness Audit Step 1. Track your effort states for 2 weeks. Simply notice when you're in force mode versus flow mode. Don't try to change anything, just observe. Force mode feels like tension in your jaw, shoulders, or stomach-racing thoughts that go in circles, pushing against resistance that doesn't give checking. The clock frequently feeling like you're behind or not doing enough. Flow mode feels like time passing without you noticing, actions feeling natural and obvious, solutions appearing without strain, energy that sustains itself, engagement without anxiety. Step 2. Identify your cultural triggers. Notice how your cultural programming shows up. If you're in America, watch for the "if I'm not hustling, I'm falling behind" voice. If you're in the UK, notice the "mustn't complain, just soldier on" mentality. If you're in Germany, observe the "everything must be perfect and controlled" drive. If you're elsewhere in Europe, pay attention to regional variations of "life is serious" and "ease is suspicious." These aren't character flaws, They're just programs you inherited. Awareness gives you choice. Week 3-6. The strategic non-doing experiments. Experiment 1. The problem pause when you encounter a challenging problem. Instead of immediately attacking it with more thinking, set a timer for 20 minutes and do something completely unrelated. Take a walk, listen to music, organize something, have a conversation about anything else. Track what happens. How often does insight come during or right after the pause? How does the quality of solutions compare to what you get from forced thinking? Experiment 2. The energy audit for 1 week. Track your natural energy rhythms without trying to override them with caffeine or willpower. When does your energy naturally peak? When does it naturally dip? What happens when you work with these rhythms instead of against them? American insight. This isn't about being lazy, it's about being strategic. British insight. This isn't about avoiding hard work, it's about working smart. German insight. This isn't about losing control, it's about optimizing your system. European insight. This isn't about lowering standards, it's about sustainable excellence. Experiment 3. The good enough challenge. Choose one area where you typically strive for perfection and intentionally aim for good enough for 2 weeks. Notice how much time and energy this frees up, whether the quality actually drops as much as you fear what becomes possible when you're not paralyzed by perfectionism. How other people respond. Hint, they usually don't notice. Week 7-12. Integration and optimization. Phase 1. Building your Effortless toolkit. The state change menu. Create a list of activities that reliably shift you from force mode to flow mode. These should be quick 5-15 minutes, enjoyable or neutral, not another task accessible anywhere, proven to work for you. Specifically common examples. Walking, especially outside, deep breathing with longer exhales, listening to specific music, brief meditation or mindfulness, physical movement, or stretching, creative activities, drawing. Playing instruments, social connection, calling a friend, petting an animal, the decision filter. Before taking any action, ask yourself, am I about to act from force mode or flow mode? If it's force mode, pause and shift your state first. Then reassess what action, if any, is actually needed. Phase 2. Advanced integration. The weekly rhythm. Design your week to include 2-3 high-focus work blocks when your energy is naturally peak, daily restoration periods, even 10-15 minutes of genuine non-doing, 1 longer. Integration session per week, 1-2 hours of unstructured time. Regular challenging work that engages you without overwhelming you. The monthly review. Every month assess what felt effortless and effective. What still feels like struggle? Where are you still fighting your natural rhythms? What patterns need adjustment? Let's be honest about the pushback you'll face from others and from yourself. But what about discipline and hard work? This question comes up everywhere, but it manifests differently across cultures. American version, aren't you just promoting laziness? What about grit and determination? British version, this sounds lovely, but some things just require proper effort, don't they? German version, how can anything worthwhile be achieved without discipline and systematic work? Here's the answer. There's a massive difference between discipline and struggle, between hard work and effortful force. True discipline is the ability to take appropriate action even when you don't feel like it. Struggle is fighting against reality and burning energy inefficiently. Hard work is sustained engagement with challenging tasks. Effortful force is trying to control outcomes through sheer willpower. The most disciplined, hardest working people learn to work with their design, not against it. Navy SEAL, Olympic athletes, top surgeons, they all learn to access flow states where extraordinary performance feels natural, not forced. 1. I become complacent. This fear is especially strong in achievement-oriented cultures. Here's what actually happens. When you stop wasting energy on effortful struggling, you have more energy available for meaningful challenges. When you're not constantly stressed about productivity, you become more genuinely productive. When you trust your natural capabilities, you're willing to take on bigger, more interesting problems. The people who learn this approach don't become complacent, they become unstoppable. My industry/culture won't accept this. This is real concern, especially in highly competitive environments. Here's how to navigate it. For Americans in hustle culture, frame this as optimizing your performance system or sustainable high achievement. Use language like strategic rest and efficiency optimization. For British professionals, present it as working smarter, not just harder, and sustainable excellence. Emphasize that this approach prevents burnout while maintaining high standards. For Germans and Northern Europeans, focus on systematic optimization and process improvement. Show how this approach leads to more consistent, predictable results. The key insight: you don't have to announce that you've stopped trying so hard. You just start achieving more while appearing more relaxed and capable. People notice the results, not the method. Before we talk about the complete solution, let's address why most approaches to this problem fail. Problem number 1. They treat symptoms, not root causes. Most advice gives you techniques to manage stress or increase productivity, but doesn't address the underlying programming that creates effortful struggling in the first place. Problem number 2. They're culturally tone-deaf. Generic advice doesn't account for the specific ways different cultures program people to distrust ease and equate struggle with virtue. Problem number 3. They lack a coherent system. Random tips and tricks don't create lasting change. You need a comprehensive approach that addresses identity, beliefs, nervous system patterns, and practical implementation. Problem number 4. They don't account for the integration challenge. Knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently are completely different challenges. Most approaches fail at the implementation stage. What actually works? Identity-level transformation. Shifting from I am someone who must struggle to succeed to I am someone whose natural state is effective and easeful. Nervous system regulation. Training your body to feel safe in states of ease and flow. Cultural deprogramming. Identifying and updating the specific cultural messages that keep you trapped in effortful struggling. Practical skill building. Learning specific techniques for accessing flow states, making decisions from clarity, and taking effective action without forced community support. Being around others who are making the same shift so you don't have to overcome cultural programming alone. This is exactly why we developed Quantum Core E, because we realized that piecemeal solutions weren't enough. People needed a complete system that addressed every aspect of this transformation. Quantum Core E works on 4 integrated levels. Level 1. Neurological reprogramming. We work directly with your nervous system to create new default states. Instead of trying to remember to not try so hard, your system naturally gravitates toward ease and effectiveness. This includes specific protocols for shifting from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance, training your brain to associate ease with safety and productivity, building new neural pathways that support effortless achievement techniques that work regardless of your cultural background or current stress level. Level 2. Identity architecture. We help you build a new identity that includes effortless effectiveness as a core component. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about updating the fundamental beliefs and assumptions that drive your behavior. This addresses cultural programming that equates struggle with virtue, inherited beliefs about what you need to do to be valuable, fear-based patterns that make rest feel dangerous, the deeper stories you tell yourself about what success requires. Level 3. Practical integration. We give you specific, proven methods for implementing this approach in your actual life, with your actual responsibilities, in your actual cultural context. This includes decision-making frameworks that work from flow states, energy management protocols that honor your natural rhythms, communication strategies. For working with others who are still stuck in struggle mode, systems for maintaining this approach even in high-pressure environments. Level 4. Community and support. We provide ongoing community support with others who are making this same transformation. This is crucial. Because you're not just learning new techniques, you're updating fundamental assumptions about how life works. The result, you don't have to choose between achievement and ease. You discover that your highest achievements come from ease, not despite it. What makes Quantum Core different? It's culturally intelligent. We've worked with high achievers from over 30 countries and understand how cultural programming shows up differently across regions and industries. It's scientifically grounded. Every technique and principle is backed by peer-reviewed research from neuroscience, psychology, and performance science. It's practically focused. This isn't theoretical. It's designed for people with real responsibilities who need real results. It's systematically complete. Instead of random tips and techniques, you get a coherent system that addresses every aspect of this transformation. It's community-supported. You're not doing this alone. You're part of a global community of people who are discovering what becomes possible when you learn to achieve without struggle. Let me paint you a picture of what life looks like on the other side of this transformation. Your work becomes engaging instead of exhausting. You still tackle challenging projects and meet demanding deadlines, but it feels like play instead of torture. You're focused and productive without the constant underlying stress. Your relationships improve dramatically. When you're not constantly in survival mode, you have bandwidth for genuine connection. You're present with people instead of mentally rehearsing your to-do list. Your health and energy stabilize. Chronic stress stops depleting your system. You sleep better, digest better, and have consistent energy throughout the day. Your creativity explodes. When you're not constantly forcing solutions, your natural problem-solving abilities emerge. You start having insights and ideas that surprise even you. Your confidence shifts from brittle to unshakable. Instead of confidence based on controlling outcomes, you develop confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes up. You become magnetic to opportunities. When you're operating from ease and effectiveness, people want to work with you, collaborate with you, and support your projects. Your ambitions expand. When achieving things doesn't require suffering, you're willing to dream bigger and take on more interesting challenges. Emma from Manchester. I used to pride myself on how hard I worked. I thought 80-hour weeks meant I was serious about my career. After learning this approach, I got promoted twice in 18 months while working 40% fewer hours. The quality of my work improved so much that clients started specifically requesting me for projects. I realized I hadn't been working hard, I'd been working inefficiently. David from Munich. As a German engineer, everything had to be perfect and controlled. This created so much internal pressure that I was burning out at 32. Learning to trust my natural intelligence instead of forcing everything through conscious analysis changed everything. My designs are more innovative. My projects finish ahead of schedule, and I actually enjoy my work again. Sophie from Paris. I thought EAs was the enemy of excellence. In French culture, we have this belief that anything worthwhile must be suffered for. But when I stopped fighting my natural rhythms and started working with them, my art career took off. I've had more gallery shows in the past year than in the previous 5 years combined. Michael from San Francisco. Silicon Valley is all about grinding and disrupting. I was a casualty of that mentality, burned out, anxious, running 3 different startups into the ground through sheer force of will. When I learned to step back and let solutions emerge instead of forcing them, everything changed. My current company just hit 7 figures in revenue, and it feels effortless compared to my previous struggles. Right now, reading this, you have a choice to make. You can close this tab and go back to the way you've always done things. Keep pushing, keep forcing, keep wearing your stress like a badge of honor. Keep believing that more effort will eventually break through to the results you want. Or you can consider the possibility that everything you've been taught about achievement might be backwards. You can consider that your struggles aren't proof of your dedication. They're evidence that you're working against your design instead of with it. You can consider that the effortless effectiveness you see in others isn't because they're naturally talented or lucky. It's because they've learned to access states that you haven't been taught to access. Here's what I know after working with thousands of high achievers from around the world. The people who make the biggest breakthroughs aren't the ones who try the hardest. They're the ones who learn to try smart. They don't achieve success despite their ease. They achieve success because of it. They don't have to choose between ambition and peace, between excellence and sustainability, between making an impact and maintaining their sanity. They've discovered the secret that's hiding in plain sight. Your best life isn't on the other side of more struggle. It's on the other side of learning to work with your natural intelligence instead of against it. If you're ready to discover what this looks like in your specific situation, Quantum Core is the comprehensive system that can show you exactly how to get there. This isn't about adding more techniques to your toolkit or trying harder to not try hard. This is about fundamentally updating the operating system that runs your life. When you work with Quantum Core, you don't have to remember to access flow states, they become your default. You don't have to fight your cultural programming. You update it. You don't have to choose between achievement and well-being. You discover they're the same thing. You don't have to figure this out alone. You're supported by a global community of people making the same transformation. The question isn't whether this approach works. The science is clear and the results documented. The question is whether you're ready to trust that there's a better way. Whether you're in Birmingham or Berlin, Chicago or Copenhagen, the answer is waiting for you. Not in some distant future when you finally get your life together, but right now, in this moment, in your willingness to consider that everything could be different. Your natural state isn't struggle. It never was. It's time to come home to what you've always been capable of. Effortless effectiveness that serves your highest ambitions without sacrificing your peace of mind. Ready to discover what becomes possible when you finally stop trying so hard. Your transformation begins with a single decision to trust that there's a better way. Quantum Core is here to show you exactly what that looks like. Learn more about Quantum Core and join thousands of high achievers who have discovered that their best work comes from ease, not effort. Your breakthrough isn't hiding behind more struggle. It's waiting for you to finally get out of your own way.